Hello and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm so happy you're here. Whether you're settling into bed, curling up on the couch, or just winding down after a long day of being human, you found the right place. This is a quiet little corner of the internet where science gets soft-spoken and curiosity puts on its pajamas. Tonight, we're diving into the dreamy depths of the mind to explore what science currently knows about dreams and the sleeping brain. It's a journey full of strange stories your mind spins while you're out cold, brain waves that look like abstract paintings, and a few surprises that might change the way you think about sleep. I do hope this video isn't so interesting that it keeps you up, but if it does, at least you'll learn something along the way. A fair trade, I'd say. Before we start, if you enjoy these gentle science journeys and want to help this sleepy little channel grow, I'd be truly grateful if you tapped the like button, subscribed, or left a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is in your corner of the night. All right, take a deep breath, settle in, and let's begin our quiet voyage into the theater of the dreaming mind. What exactly is a dream? It sounds simple, doesn't it? But defining a dream is like trying to hug a cloud. You can almost wrap around it, but it slips away before you can hold on. At its core, a dream is a sequence of thoughts, images, emotions, and sensations your mind creates while you sleep. It's the original streaming service, broadcast straight from your brain's own studio. Sometimes dramatic, sometimes absurd, occasionally terrifying, and often completely nonsensical. Yet, despite how surreal they are, dreams feel real while they happen. You might fly, fall, argue with a walrus in a tuxedo, or arrive late to exam years after you graduated, and in the moment, it all makes perfect sense. But why does the brain do this? Let's go back, way back, to when people didn't have neuroscience labs. But they did have dreams. In ancient Mesopotamia, dreams were seen as messages from the gods. The Egyptians even had professional dream interpreters, like sleep-time oracles. If you dreamed of a cat, a flood, or a flying crocodile, someone probably had a scroll to explain it. Fast forward to ancient Greece, where philosophers like Aristotle began to think dreams came from within, from the body and mind, rather than from divine sources. Still, the idea that dreams had special meaning persisted for centuries. Then, in the 19th and early 20th centuries, Sigmund Freud made dreams fashionable again. He called them the royal road to the unconscious and thought they revealed hidden desires and fears. Dramatic and probably not entirely accurate, but it did inspire lots of analysis and some awkward conversations. Carl Jung, Freud's former protege, had a different idea. He believed dreams connected us to a shared human experience, the collective unconscious. For Jung, dream symbols had deep, universal meanings beyond individual lives. Here's where science steps in. Modern neuroscience takes a more practical view. Instead of assuming your dreams are secret messages about your mother, Freud, researchers now look at what the brain actually does during sleep. They've found that dreams are closely tied to specific sleep stages, especially REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. During REM, your brain is surprisingly active, sometimes almost as busy as when you're awake. Your eyes move around under your eyelids, your heart rate rises slightly, and your body becomes temporarily paralyzed. Thankfully, so you don't act out your dreams. Dreams can also happen in non-REM sleep, but they tend to be less vivid and more abstract. The big, cinematic dreams with talking giraffes and wild plot twists usually come courtesy of REM, but scientists still don't fully agree on why we dream. Is it purely biological? Is the brain sorting memories like an old hard drive? Or is it still trying to send symbolic messages in a code we don't fully understand? Adding to the mystery, not everyone dreams the same way. Some people claim they don't dream at all, though usually it's just that they don't remember. Dreams are slippery in our memory. You might wake up remembering every detail of your space opera starring your pet hamster, only for it to vanish by the time you brush your teeth. If you've ever felt frustrated trying to recall a dream, you're not alone. The brain doesn't store dream memories the same way it stores others. The hippocampus, which helps form memories, is less active during REM which may be why dream memories fade so fast. Still, some dreams do stick. The vivid, scary, or deeply emotional ones tend to linger longer in our minds. Interestingly, dreams often reflect what's happening in your waking life. This is called the continuity hypothesis, the idea that daily experiences, emotions, and even media you consume slip into your dreams. So, if you binge a detective show, argue with your boss, and eat spicy noodles before bed, don't be surprised if your dreams feature a chili-fueled mystery, but dreams aren't just leftover scraps from the day. They can also be wildly creative. Many artists and inventors have credited dreams with inspiring their work. Paul McCartney said the melody for Yesterday came to him in a dream. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was dream-born. Dmitri Mendeleev claimed the periodic table came to him in a vision while sleeping. So while dreams can be bizarre, they're also a space where the mind experiments and explores without logic or physics. Your brain can rehearse, fantasize, and reflect, all without you lifting a finger. It's like going to the movies, except you're the writer, director, set designer, and cast, and no one really knows what's happening. That's part of their magic. Dreams are messy, mysterious, and deeply human. They remind us that even while we sleep, the mind is far from still. So, next time you drift off, remember you're about to star in your own midnight adventure, improvised, unfiltered, and possibly featuring a talking penguin. Sleep tight. Let's talk about sleep. The backstage crew making these dreams possible. We often think of sleep as one long, uninterrupted stretch, like pressing pause for 8 hours. But under the surface, sleep is surprisingly intricate. It's a carefully structured cycle, more like a symphony than a simple off switch. With stages, rhythms, and patterns, scientists call this sleep architecture, which sounds fancy and a bit expensive. Let's take a quiet walk through this blueprint. No hard hats needed. Sleep has two main types, REM and non-REM. Non-REM has 3 stages, N1, N2, and N3, which sound like Star Wars droids but are just different depths of unconsciousness. These stages cycle every 90 minutes or so. Like a looped playlist your brain repeats throughout the night. But with fewer ads and a bit more drool. Stage N1 is the gentle descent. It's the lightest sleep stage when you're just starting to drift off. You're still partly aware of your surroundings, but your brain is shifting gears. You might feel your limbs twitch or suddenly jerk awake as if falling. No worries. That's just your nervous system glitching a bit. In N1. Brain waves slow from active beta and alpha waves to slower theta waves. It's a twilight zone between being awake and truly asleep. If someone wakes you now, you might insist you weren't sleeping at all. Technically true, but a bit misleading. Stage N2 is light sleep. Here you sink a bit deeper. Your body temperature drops, heartbeat slows, and eye movements stop. Your brain gets serious about sleep. You're not yet dreaming, but definitely not answering calls. In this stage, the brain shows bursts of electrical activity called sleep spindles and K-complexes, which sound like indie band names but help protect your sleep by blocking outside noise. You spend about half the night in this stage. It's the reliable workhorse, not flashy but essential. Stage N3 is deep sleep, also called slow wave or delta sleep. This is the restorative stage, like a deep clean cycle for your brain. Here, the brain produces slow delta waves, large pulses that wash through your cortex like gentle ocean waves. This is when your body repairs tissues, builds bone and muscle, and strengthens the immune system. For kids, this is when growth hormone is released. Adults don't grow taller, unfortunately, but we still benefit from the repair. It's hard to wake someone in N3. If you do, they'll likely be groggy and disoriented, like being pulled out of a warm bath by a foghorn. Dreaming can happen in N3, but it's usually vague and scattered, more like static than a full story. The vivid dreams happen next. REM sleep, the dream factory. During REM, your brain lights up, your muscles go limp, and your eyes dart under your eyelids like they're watching an invisible tennis match. This is where most vivid and bizarre dreams happen. It's the brain's sandbox, a place for strange stories and unexpected cameos, but REM isn't just entertaining. It's important for memory consolidation, emotional processing, And creativity. Some researchers think REM helps you sort out emotional clutter from the day, like sweeping up confetti after a wild parade. During REM, your brain can be as active as when you're awake, but your body is completely still. This paralysis, called REM atonia, prevents you from acting out your dreams, a built-in safety feature. As the night progresses, REM stages get longer. Early REM might be only 10 minutes. By morning, it can stretch to an hour. That's why dreams feel longer and weirder toward the end of the night. Putting it all together, you start in N1, drift into N2, sink into N3 for deep repair, then move into REM for late-night theater. This full cycle lasts about 90 minutes and repeats 4 to 6 times per night. Earlier in the night, there's more deep sleep. Later, more REM. It's as if the brain handles maintenance first, then treats itself to a show. Why does all this matter? Because when sleep architecture is disrupted by stress, caffeine, blue light, or a late-night existential crisis, everything else is affected. You might miss deep sleep, or your REM might get cut short. The result? You wake up groggy, unrefreshed, and slightly betrayed by your own brain. Sleep isn't just one thing. It's a careful rhythm. Understanding it helps you rest better. You don't need to become a sleep expert, but keeping a steady schedule, reducing light before bed, and avoiding caffeine too late can help your brain do its work quietly and efficiently. So tonight, as you drift off, remember, your brain is about to launch into a beautifully choreographed routine, complete with waves, spindles, and midnight stories. Dream sequences. You may not recall every detail, but both your mind and body benefit from them. Why do we dream? It's a question that has puzzled philosophers, scientists, and poets for centuries. Despite our advanced technology and countless late-night debates, we still don't have a definitive answer. Dreams remain one of the last truly mysterious frontiers of human experience, nightly stories that unfold without scripts, logic, or continuity. Some dreams feel deeply meaningful, while others are just strange. One moment, you're back in school. The next, you're being chased through a supermarket by a giant duck on roller skates. Why? What purpose could that possibly serve? Yet your brain puts in the effort to create it all: images, sounds, emotions. A full production, all while you're asleep. Many scientists believe dreams are connected to memory. Throughout the day, your brain collects endless bits of information: faces, facts, conversations, frustrations, lunch menus, and catchy songs. At night, it needs to sort through all this mental clutter. According to the memory consolidation theory, dreams help with this organizational task, a kind of mental filing system where your brain decides what to keep, what to discard, and what to send to that mysterious mental junk drawer. Interestingly, students who intensely study or learn new skills often experience more REM sleep afterward and sometimes even dream about what they've been studying. So in a way, sleep learning is real, though your dream self might mix up calculus with cartoon animals. Another idea is that dreams help us process emotions. During REM sleep, the brain's emotional centers, like the amygdala, become active while stress-related chemicals decrease. This combination lets your mind revisit emotionally charged memories without the full weight of fear or panic, almost like a mental rehearsal with surreal scenery. That dream where you calmly argue with your ex on top of a slow-moving elephant? That might be your brain's way of saying, I'm working through this. There's also a theory that dreams act as a sort of threat simulator. According to this view, dreaming is our evolutionary brain's way of preparing for danger by running through imaginary scenarios, being chased, lost, attacked, or late for a test in a class you never took. It's a kind of mental rehearsal for high-stress situations, albeit exaggerated and bizarre. People from more dangerous environments often report more frequent and vivid dreams, as if their minds stay on alert even while sleeping. So when your dream drops you into a collapsing building while reciting the alphabet backwards, it might just be your brain's way of running a midnight fire drill. Not all theories focus on emotion or evolution. Another explanation is called the activation synthesis hypothesis. This idea suggests dreams result from random electrical impulses in the brainstem during REM sleep. These impulses trigger memories, images, and feelings, and your cerebral cortex, the brain's storyteller, tries to weave them into something coherent. It doesn't always succeed, which explains why you might see talking ducks or your third-grade teacher on a pirate ship. In this view, dreams aren't purposeful stories, but your brain doing its best to make sense of spontaneous signals. Some researchers also believe dreams support cognitive development, especially in children. Kids dream more than adults, and their dreams are often imaginative and bizarre, talking animals, magical powers, flying, building worlds from scratch. It's like a new Pixar adventure every night. This imaginative dream activity may help the developing brain build problem-solving skills and emotional awareness. So when your child describes fighting a spaghetti dragon to rescue a cloud, they're not just playing. They're growing new mental pathways. Even for adults, dreaming might aid creativity and problem-solving. Have you ever gone to bed stuck on an issue and woken up with a sudden, elegant solution? That's not magic. It's your brain working behind the scenes without the constraints of logic. Famous examples include Paul McCartney coming up with the melody for Yesterday in a dream, and chemist August Kekulé dreaming of a snake biting its own tail, which helped him understand the structure of the benzene molecule. Dreams allow the mind to wander freely, and sometimes that freedom sparks insight. Despite all these theories, emotional processing, memory sorting, threat rehearsal, random synthesis, problem solving, no single explanation has been universally accepted. Most likely, dreaming serves several purposes at once, like a late-night variety show where your brain cleans up, solves problems, rehearses for danger, and occasionally throws in a random musical number. That's the strange beauty of dreams. They're not tidy or always rational, but they're deeply human. Every night, your brain tells stories for an audience of one, stories you might forget, but that still shape your emotions, memories, and imagination. So, the next time you drift into sleep, remember, your brain isn't resting idly. It's sorting, processing, and imagining. And if it happens to turn your uncle into a talking cactus, well, that's all part of the process. Sleep well. You have a mind full of dreams ahead. Have you ever wondered which part of your brain is responsible for that dream where you're taking an exam in a swimming pool full of marshmallows? Or why some dreams feel full of emotion while others are disjointed and random? The answer isn't found in just one region, but in a delicate nighttime interplay among several brain areas, each playing a role in the theater of your dreaming mind. Let's start with the prefrontal cortex. During the day, it's your rational planner, the part that advises you not to send that all-caps email. It handles decision-making and self-control. But when you fall asleep, especially in REM, this part steps aside and quiets down. As a result, dreams can be illogical and boundary-pushing, with no inner critic holding things back. It's like your inner editor has left, and now the art department has taken over. Meanwhile, other areas become more active. The amygdala, for instance, lights up during REM sleep. This almond-shaped region processes emotions like fear, anger, and pleasure. When you find yourself in a dream being chased by someone dressed as your childhood pet, you can thank the amygdala for adding emotional intensity. It makes dreams feel important even when they make no sense. Additionally, because stress chemicals are lower during REM, you can re-experience intense emotions in a safer, lower stress setting. You might feel fear or excitement, but without the real-world panic. Next, there's the hippocampus, your brain's memory librarian. It helps create and organize memories and is important when dreams include real places or familiar faces. The hippocampus pulls in pieces like that restaurant you passed, a song stuck in your head, or your second-grade teacher reappearing as a karate champion. However, the hippocampus isn't fully active during REM, which might explain why dream memories are often scattered and fade quickly. The filing cabinet is open, but the lights are dim. Then there's the occipital lobe at the back of your brain, your primary visual processing center. During REM sleep, it becomes very active, which makes sense since dreams are often visual experiences. Even people born blind report vivid sensory dreams focused on touch, sound, and spatial awareness. For others, dreams play like surreal films, complete with dramatic angles and lighting, your brain's private movie studio. Running without cameras. Another intriguing factor is PGO waves, short for ponto-geniculo-occipital waves. These bursts of activity start in the pons, part of the brainstem, travel through the lateral geniculate nucleus involved in vision, and reach the occipital cortex. They likely play a key role in starting REM sleep and creating dream imagery. Think of them as the opening act before the dream show begins. During REM, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which helps you recognize reality, is less active. This explains why your dream self might think it's normal to have tea on the moon with a flamingo named Steve, without those reality checks. The dream world becomes fluid and sometimes delightfully absurd. The motor cortex, responsible for movement, is also active during dreams. Your dream self might run, fly, or dance, but your body stays still because another brain region temporarily paralyzes your muscles. This is called REM atonia, a safety feature preventing you from acting out your dreams in real life. In rare cases, this muscle paralysis doesn't work properly, leading to REM sleep behavior disorder. People might physically act out dreams, sometimes resulting in injury. It shows just how carefully the brain must coordinate everything to keep dream adventures from spilling into the real world. When you sleep, it isn't just rest. Inside, a full cast of brain regions comes alive. The emotional amygdala, the memory-focused hippocampus, the visual occipital lobe, the quieted prefrontal cortex, and the motor control center, all collaborating on your private nighttime performance. And perhaps most intriguing of all, you, the dreamer, rarely remember the script or the rehearsal. You wake up with a fragment or a feeling, but behind that is a complex brain production full of emotion and unexpected architecture, stitched together in the dark. So next time you find yourself in a dream, flying, having tea with historical figures, or wandering a warped grocery store, take a moment to appreciate it. Even if it doesn't make sense, the simple fact that your brain can create a story while unconscious is a remarkable feat. Emotions are simply more memorable, and evolution has a strong interest in remembering possible threats. You're far more likely to recall a dream about escaping a wildfire than one about enjoying a sandwich. The emotional intensity helps fix the dream in your memory and makes you more likely to learn from it. From a survival standpoint, fear is an effective teacher. However, the line between a dream and a nightmare isn't always obvious. Some dreams are exciting but not truly scary, while others feel deeply unsettling without being loud or dramatic. The emotional tone is subjective. What disturbs one person might amuse another. A dream about public speaking might terrify someone with stage fright but feel fun to someone else who enjoys performing. Even in dreams, nightmares can also act as a kind of mirror, reflecting our deepest fears, stresses, and unresolved issues. They can reveal hidden worries and unspoken stress. While that can feel uncomfortable, it might also help us heal, as if your brain is saying, "I know this is frightening, but we need to face it." The good news is that most people don't experience nightmares every night. They're intense but usually rare visitors. For those who do have them more often, there are ways to cope, from better sleep habits and stress management to therapy and specific dream-focused techniques. We've learned methods to make peace with these nighttime shadows. So if you've had a recent nightmare, whether it was a chase, a fall, or a feeling of helplessness, remember that your brain might be trying to work something out. And if you wake up with your heart pounding but safe in your bed, that's your brain reminding you it was only a dream. Maybe next time, your dream will be gentler, like floating on a leaf or chatting with a wise old turtle. Either way, you'll be okay. We often think of sleep as a time to rest and recharge, a break from daily life. But dreams don't always follow that plan. They don't politely ask if it's the right moment to explore unresolved feelings. They just show up, wearing symbolic disguises, reshaping memories, and occasionally adding a random subplot with cats and elevators. It turns out that dreams and mental health are closely connected, like two partners moving together through the night. They influence each other in subtle and surprising ways. Sometimes dreams mirror our emotional state, sometimes they amplify it, and at times they might even help us heal. It's clear that when you're stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, your dreams tend to become more intense, not literally louder, unless you dream in surround sound, but stronger in their emotional content. They can feel more vivid, more emotional, and sometimes more chaotic. You might dream of being chased, lost, unprepared, or frozen in place. These dreams can act like abstract versions of your waking emotions. Researchers have long noticed this connection. People with depression, for example, often report dreams that are more negative, repetitive, or emotionally heavy, reflecting the numbness or sadness they feel while awake. Those with anxiety disorders might have dreams filled with threats, pressure, or social embarrassment, like giving a speech without pants or struggling to make a phone call that never connects. Beyond content, the structure of dreams can also change with mental health. People experiencing high stress or psychological trauma often report more fragmented and jarring dreams. It's as if the brain is trying to process too much at once without enough cohesion to keep it together. This creates a chaotic dream state, emotionally intense but lacking clear narrative flow. This is especially true in post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Nightmares are a key symptom. These aren't just bad dreams. They often involve reliving the traumatic event repeatedly. While REM sleep usually helps process and reduce emotional pain in PTSD, this system doesn't work as it should. Instead of helping heal, the dream replays the trauma like a broken record. Interestingly, not all REM sleep is the same. In healthy people, REM tends to soften the emotional impact of tough memories. You can recall the event without the same emotional charge. But in trauma survivors, this soothing effect is weakened or lost. This is why therapies that work with dreams, such as imagery rehearsal therapy, can be so effective. By consciously rewriting a recurring nightmare and practicing the new version while awake, people can gradually change their dreams and reduce their intensity. It's like giving the brain a new script, one with less fear and more resolution. Dreaming isn't only shaped by mental health. It also interacts with how we manage it. Take antidepressants, for example. Many medications that affect serotonin and norepinephrine, key chemicals for mood, also influence sleep. Some can suppress REM sleep, leading to fewer remembered dreams. Others cause REM rebound when doses change, which can bring vivid and emotionally charged dreams. This isn't necessarily harmful. It simply shows how deeply mood, sleep, and dreaming are connected. Your brain is a unified system, not separate compartments. Change one part, and it affects the whole. There's also growing interest in using dreams as a window into mental health. We're still far from using them as official diagnostic tools, but researchers are exploring how dream content might signal changes in emotional well-being, especially when combined with sleep data and cognitive patterns. In the future, AI could potentially detect early signs of depression or anxiety by analyzing dream reports, though explaining a dream about flying broccoli to a robot might always feel a bit silly. What is clear is that dreams are deeply personal. They can show us truths we haven't spoken aloud. They reflect our hopes, fears, and the messy space in between. Sometimes, when life feels heavy, dreams can provide symbolic relief, giving form to feelings we can't yet express. There's even evidence that dreams help with problem-solving and emotional growth. In therapy, clients sometimes dream about tough decisions or unresolved feelings. While dreams don't deliver neat solutions, they can move people closer to understanding. It's the brain's quiet way of saying you're working on this, even if you don't realize it. Of course, not every dream carries a deep message. Some are just odd, random, or inspired by a late-night snack, and that's okay. Sometimes a floating platypus in a bow tie is just that, nothing more. But when dreams touch something deeper, echoing ignored stress or surfacing hidden fears, it's worth noticing. Not overanalyzing, not panicking, just noticing. Your dreaming mind isn't separate from you. It's another part of you speaking in its own strange language. trying to be heard. So if your dreams have turned darker, stranger, or more intense, be kind to yourself. Your mind is still working things out, even in the dark. And if your dreams are gentle, hopeful, or quietly comforting, hold on to that too. Sometimes the subconscious starts guiding us toward healing before we're even aware. In the end, dreams aren't just background noise. They're part of an ongoing conversation between your brain, your body, and your heart. And like the most meaningful talks, some of the most important moments happen late at night. When everything else is quiet, you've probably seen it. A dog asleep, paws twitching, tail flicking, maybe letting out a muffled bark. Or a cat stretched on a windowsill, whiskers twitching and legs moving as if chasing something. If you've ever wondered whether animals dream, the answer is probably yes. Of course, they can't tell us. No golden retriever has described a dream about a sky full of flying tennis balls, but science offers strong clues, and the evidence is convincing. Nearly all mammals and many birds experience REM sleep, the same phase where humans do most of their dreaming. REM, or rapid eye movement, involves irregular brain activity, temporary muscle paralysis, and darting eye movements under closed lids. In animals, this looks familiar: twitching paws, flickering eyes, or quiet barks and meows. It's like a silent movie playing only for them. It might look like animals are just playing behind their eyelids, but brain scans provide even stronger evidence of their dream lives. In a well-known study at MIT, researchers trained rats to run through a maze while recording their brain activity. As the rats navigated the maze, specific neuron patterns fired, almost like a song their brains played while solving the puzzle. Later, when the rats slept, researchers observed those exact same neural patterns reappear during REM sleep. It was as though the rats were dreaming of running the maze again, reinforcing the memory or mentally practicing for future runs. The same song was playing, only now the lights were off. Birds also show signs of dreaming. Zebra finches, for instance, are known for their intricate singing. During sleep, their brains replay the same neural patterns used in singing, almost like they're practicing their songs while unconscious, a kind of dream karaoke. And it isn't just mammals and birds. Recent research suggests that even reptiles, once thought too simple for REM, might experience a form of dreamlike sleep. Some lizard species show sleep cycles resembling both REM and non-REM sleep. While this research is still developing, it suggests that dreaming could be a much older evolutionary feature than we once believed. The deeper we look, the more we see a spectrum of dreaming. Animals with more complex brains and emotional lives often show stronger signs of REM sleep. Dolphins, for example, sleep with only one half of their brain at a time, making dreaming more complicated, but not impossible. Elephants have been seen in REM sleep while lying down, and primates, our close relatives, appear to dream in ways similar to us. So, what do animals actually dream about? That remains a mystery. We can't ask a cat if it dreamt of hunting or a squirrel if it visited a nut-themed amusement park. But we can make reasonable guesses. Animals likely dream about things central to their lives: navigating spaces, social interactions, hunting, playing, and eating. Unlike human dreams, which can be symbolic or abstract, animal dreams are probably more directly tied to real experiences. In this way, dreams may serve similar purposes across species, helping consolidate memories, regulate emotions, and practice behaviors. A mouse might dream to reinforce maze navigation skills. A dog might replay a walk or a playful encounter. A horse might imagine galloping across a vast field that exists only in its mind. There's even some evidence that animals can have nightmares. Lab rats exposed to stress sometimes show altered REM sleep, more fragmented or intense, and may avoid certain parts of a maze afterward, suggesting they processed a frightening experience in their dreams. It's a bit sad to think about, but it underscores that dreaming is deeply linked to emotional life in animals too. And what about our pets, the dog curled up at your feet or the cat snoozing on the windowsill? What happens behind those closed eyes? Research suggests that dogs in particular have vivid dreams. Smaller breeds tend to enter REM sleep more frequently, while larger breeds may stay in it longer. And although we can't know the exact content, it's very likely that dogs dream about their human companions. Since we are such a central part of their world, cats, as usual, are more mysterious. But they dream too. In fact, studies from the 1960s helped scientists link REM sleep to dreaming by observing cats. When researchers temporarily disabled the brain region responsible for REM paralysis, cats acted out their dreams, stalking, pouncing, or grooming, all while deeply asleep. It was the first clear evidence that animals don't just rest. They experience full internal stories during sleep. Animal dreaming also raises fascinating philosophical questions. If a rat dreams, does it have a sense of self within that dream? Do animals distinguish between reality and imagination? And perhaps most intriguingly, what is it like to dream when you don't have words to describe it? Maybe dreaming is a kind of universal brain language, a shared way for creatures big and small to revisit, rehearse, and reflect. Perhaps it's not unique to humans at all, but something deeply woven into the fabric of life, a quiet nighttime. Space where instinct and memory meet, soft and unseen dot. So next time you see your dog's legs twitching or hear your cat softly chirping in sleep, let them be. Let them chase dream birds or bark at imagined mail carriers. They're journeying too, through inner worlds we'll never fully see but that are real in the only way dreams can be. As you drift off tonight, it might comfort you to know you're not alone. Somewhere nearby, another creature is dreaming too, for most of human history, dreams were private, a world experienced by one person alone, fleeting and often forgotten by morning. You might wake with fragments, a face, a place, or just a strange emotional residue. But try explaining it to someone else and the magic seems to slip away. Until recently, dreams were like whispers in a locked room. Now, scientists are slowly picking that lock. Welcome to the strange, slightly sci-fi frontier of dream recording, where neuroscience, technology, and a sense of wonder intersect too. Try something once thought impossible, reading the dreaming mind. As with many brain studies, it begins with machines and wavy lines. Researchers have long used EEG, electroencephalography, to monitor brain waves during sleep. EEG is excellent for tracking sleep stages, from light sleep to deep sleep and REM. But it can't tell us the content of dreams. For that, we need a clearer picture. Enter fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging, which allows scientists to see which brain areas are active and when. One of the most fascinating studies in this area took place in Japan at ATR Computational Neuroscience Laboratories. There, participants fell asleep in an fMRI machine, probably one of the least relaxing sleep environments imaginable. Still, they managed to doze off, allowing the team to record brain activity during early dream imagery. Before the experiment, participants had been shown hundreds of images, cats, buildings, people, objects, while awake. Each image created a specific neural fingerprint in the visual cortex. During sleep, when similar patterns appeared, researchers compared them to this waking data. It worked. With about 60% accuracy, the team could identify the general type of image, whether it was a person, a book, a car, or a tree. They couldn't describe the dream plot or emotions, but they could see what was being visualized. It was the first real peek into a dreaming mind. 60% might not sound high, but considering we're talking about decoding thoughts from a sleeping brain, it's impressive. It was like watching a low-resolution, silent version of someone's dream from the outside. Other experiments have gone further. At the University of California, researchers used fMRI data to reconstruct rough images people saw while awake. The results were blurry and surreal, like impressionist paintings from the subconscious, but they hinted at future possibilities. So, can we watch someone's dream on a screen? Not quite yet, but scientists can identify certain content categories, track emotional tone based on which brain areas light up, and in some cases detect specific shapes or objects. Technology is still limited but improving. With advances in AI and neural decoding, dream reading might become sharper and more precise in the future. Of course, This progress raises significant ethical questions. Dreams are one of the last truly private spaces, raw, unfiltered expressions of self where no one else can intrude. If we reach a point where dreams can be fully recorded or decoded, what happens to that privacy? Will we need protections for our dream content? Will there be dream rights to safeguard mental privacy and freedom of thought? These aren't just hypothetical questions. As neurotechnology advances, ethicists and lawmakers are already discussing what are known as neurorights, basic protections for mental autonomy and privacy. While the idea of sharing dreams like YouTube videos might sound fun, there's something sacred about the fact that dreams are yours alone. That said, dream recording could have positive uses. Imagine giving people with communication disorders, who can't speak or write, a new way to express themselves. If we could translate their dreams into language or images, it might offer insight into their inner worlds. There's also therapeutic potential. A psychologist could track recurring dream themes, emotional arcs, or unresolved tensions. This could act like a high-tech dream journal, revealing patterns and helping guide treatment. Researchers are even exploring targeted dream incubation, playing certain sounds or words during sleep to gently steer dream content. Someone learning a new language might hear vocabulary overnight to reinforce learning, or someone wanting to dream about flying might hear soft wind noises. It's not full control, but it's a gentle nudge. Dreams, however, remain complex and layered, emotionally charged, and often nonsensical. Even the dreamer can't always understand them, let alone an outside observer. But we're getting closer to understanding how the brain builds these inner worlds, and perhaps closer to bringing them into view. So tonight, as you drift off, take a moment to appreciate the quiet mystery behind your eyelids. Your brain is about to enter a world of its own making, unrecorded, unfiltered, and uniquely yours, for now. No machine can follow you there, and maybe that's for the best. Even in an age obsessed with data, there's something beautiful about stories that remain secret, whispered only to yourself, painted in the dark.